Well, I grew up in a family which God wasn't that important in. But sadly, it was a fairly sad household, a domestically violent household, which was quite hard. And I met my own father when I was 3, maybe going on to 4. And he was in Parramatta Jail, mainly for stealing. Therefore, my first 16 years growing up in Sydney were not the best, actually, if I can put it that way. There was no God in the house. Mum had a family Bible, but it tended to be used as a weapon against her. There was a young man that used to walk past our place at 39 Chestnut Road, Auburn, every Sunday morning with a black book under his arm. My father said he was a do-gooder, Bible basher. But it was one day that after my father had left the scene, he walked past and he invited me to go to a youth group on a Friday night at the local church. And I went, yeah. And so that's when I got involved with the young people's group there, at around about the age of 17 years of age. And his name was Arthur Raymond Middleton. Later on, Arthur invited me to go to a beach mission with him. I had a little group of children assigned to me to teach the Bible to. I worry a little bit about that at the moment because I'm not quite sure if I was a good teacher of the Bible those days. But it was actually, in fact, at that beach mission that we went to a youth night, and living in this community of young people who were so connected with their faith and read their Bibles daily and prayer groups and so forth, it was really something that I don't think I was quite living out. So so that's when I really come to faith, and Arthur continued to mentor to me, and we prayed and shared the Bible together quite often, along with some of the team as well. One day I was actually taking a group of SEBS, Church of Boys Society boys, on a hike to the National Park, and I was in the train and I was reading the Sydney Morning Herald, and I saw down there that they'd seen an ad in there for a youth worker, Sydney City Mission. And I thought, oh, didn't know you can get paid for this. And I decided, I'm doing all this youth work, you can get paid to do it. So I became a youth worker, a detached youth worker for the Sydney City Mission at the Green Valley Community Centre. I must confess, 4 days later I was in hospital having my jaw fixed up because I had my jaw broken, and subsequently a lot of my teeth were missing after a while as well, because it was a very tough community, but I somehow loved the work. And I got another nickname there. It was called HAP, H-A-P-P, and that's because even when I got my teeth knocked out I still smiled for some strange reason, and so the kids called me HAP. I subsequently became the manager of the centre after a few years, and enjoyed it very much, and it's certainly working with troubled youth, connecting with the local churches. It's become a bridge between the local churches in the Green Valley area. I was going to retire at 65, but my boss asked me if I'd stay on for another year, decided I would go along to Scripture Union, seeing that I'd become a Christian through Scripture Union Beach Mission, to offer to do some volunteering work. And I met the then director, Mark, who said, how would you like to go to jail? Oh, it's been a long time since I've been to jail. He said, an organisation has contacted us to run some camps for children who have mum and dad in jail. So we started off, but we did find the first camp very difficult. I don't think any of us on that camp realised how difficult it was for this group of young people who were fairly undisciplined, wanted to fight a lot, argue a lot. We never had enough leaders, nor did we have enough leaders with probably the relevant experience, including myself at that stage, even though I'd worked with tough kids before. But I suddenly had to think about it, prayed a lot more about it, and how we're going to do this. So we continued for about 3 camps. Then I decided that I think that what we'll do is run the camps ourselves. And so we developed a group of leaders, trained leaders up, looked at how we run camps and so forth. And 102 camps later, we are running very successful camps. Kids have come to faith. Kids have learned discipline, honesty, respect, be thankful for their food. So that's been a great ministry. And I didn't realise when I met my own dad at 3 in jail that there were a connection to the kids that have gone through perhaps similar situations in a different time period. I don't know, I think it's just a gift that God gave me. I can't understand it because I just somehow there's a relational thing with children and young people. Somehow the respect, and more later in life I think maybe more respectful because of the age that I am and trying to keep up with young people. I think I missed out being a young person, in a sense, as a normal young person, because I was fairly restricted in the household we were in. I watched a lot of series of domestic violence against my mother and certainly against us children as well. I think God has just saw this and said, this is what you're going to be doing, and I can't help myself. As Christians, we need not to give ourselves to the world, but to be witness to that world outside our church, sometimes our comfort zone.